Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again for the virtual reader fair afternoon session. And again, I'm Meredith McGee. I'm the chair of Community Library of Mississippi and author and a book toaster. So you all can tell us who you are.
My name is Clarence Gomes, and I'm going to 7th grade, and I am 11 years old.
Okay, you?
My name is Charis Gong. I'm going to the 5th grade, and I am 10 years old.
My name is Harry Jia, and I'm going to the 1st grade, and I am 5 years old, 6 years old.
Okay, Lynette.
Your name?
My name was Robert Lee Williams III, also known as two other names, Trey and Trey.
Oh.
And I am 6 and I'm going to 1st grade at tender ages.
Oh, you go to the 1st grade? Very good. All right. What about you, Grandma? Lynette?
Oh, me, I'm Lynette Stafford, and I'm also known as Gigi. It's Gigi.
Me.
All right. Okay, Vicky. You there, Vicky?
Huh?
Introduce yourself.
I can't see you, but I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, well, we can hear you, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. I am Vicky Jenkins, and I am the co-chair of the Community Library of Mississippi, and I am the co-host of the reading fair. And today we're hosting our.
Okay, so our first reader is going to introduce himself. Who's going to be next after him? Okay, you go next, and then who wants to go after her? Trey, you want to go after her?
Sam.
He said yes?
He said yes.
Okay, wonderful. And I'll go last. Okay, so let's read.
Well, the name of my story is Attack of the Bendy Cats by Geronimo Stilton. I am continuing off of the 10 pages I read earlier in the first Zoom. The Most Wanted Mouse. Trap's latest brilliant idea came from a television show. I saw this great show last night. It was one of those real-life mysteries, he began. It took place in the South Seas, near the Claus Islands. Someone had spotted an island all covered in silver, and unlike most islands, the one seems to be moving. We should go looking for it. Not on your life, I shrieked. You know I hate traveling. Trap gave me a sly smile. Just think about it. A little disappearing act might make it good for you, he advised. Did you know Viking Rats football team is lined up outside? They haven't looked this angry. Since they lost the Super Mouse Bowl. Plus, the mayor has put you on the most wanted list. I passed 10 police mice on my way here. One was sharpening his teeth with a cheese shredder. Besides, think about the mysterious island, he murmured. My whiskers are standing on the end, just thinking about all that silver. Thea and Benjamin have all agreed to come. Just then, the door flew open. It was my sister, Thea. Do you know that the yellow pages are all wrong? She squeaked. I just called the Grand Cheddar Hotel to book a weekend with my new sweetie pie. I got a rat's prison instead. They offered me 2 rooms with a view of barbed wire fence. I couldn't help but giggle. My sister goes through sweetie pies the way a starving rat goes through a plate of nachos. It's not funny, fur brain, my sister scolded me. Suddenly, a messenger mouse rushed in with the 6 cups of warm milk and the soothing yoga tape I had just ordered. Mr. Stilton, he interrupted. Did you know that you switched the number for Pizza Mouse with the one for Bent Whiskers Memorial? Last night, I ordered a pizza and got an ambulance instead. The hospital wants me to sue you for damages. Just then, my young nephew, Benjamin, raced through the door. Uncle, I have to tell you something very important, he cried. I checked your phone book, and it's full of mistakes. My school is getting lots of calls asking for a tattoo parlor. Uncle, do you think I should get a tattoo? By the way, the principal said he wants to speak with you. I closed my eyes and counted the holes in a slice of Swiss cheese. Then I stood up. All right, you win, I told Trap. Let's go, now. We leave at dawn. Next morning at dawn, I met everyone on the beach. Trap was bent over a pump trying to blow up a huge balloon. It was purple with yellow dots. What on earth is this? Where did you find it? I shrieked. It's a hot air balloon. I got it real cheap at the flea market. My cousin replied. I rolled my eyes. I don't see why we have to travel in a hot air balloon. And why did you pick such a horrible color? It looks like a giant prune with freckles. To be honest, I was a little worried. It didn't seem like the safest way to travel, but Thea was already busy fixing a hole in the basket. Benjamin posed in front of the balloon. Uncle, would you take my picture? He asked, grinning from ear to ear. Half an hour later, we took off in the balloon. I sat at the bottom of the basket and began writing in my diary. 6:25 a.m. We have just left the beach at New Mouse City. We are headed west for the Claw Islands. Day after day, I wrote down everything that happened in my journal. I figured writing would take my mind off traveling. Did I mention how much I hate to travel? Finally, at noon on the 11th day, we caught sight of the Claw Islands. Trap jumped up and down as if he just won the mouse lottery. The Silver Island should be somewhere around here. Keep your eyes peeled, he shouted. You too, Jerry Berry. Although with your eyes you probably have trouble seeing Santa Mouse on his sleigh. I have excellent eyesight with my glasses on, I cried, glaring at my cousin. Minutes later, I was the first to spot the island. So much for my bad eyes. I cleaned my glasses to get a clearer view. A dot of the silver swapped back and forth. With the waves, it was the island. All right, it was the island, all right. Look over there, I shouted with excitement. But then something totally strange happened. Zing! A cannonball flew by just above my ears. Zing, zing! 2 more cannonballs brushed by our balloon. Somehow, I had a sinking feeling that we were about to get worse. I really do hate traveling.
And that's
And that's the next 10 pages. Yeah, 11 actually.
Okay, so can you tell us what happened in this 10 pages that continue from the first 10 pages in terms of the phone book directory and them correcting it?
Well, from the end of the first 10 pages, his cousin Trap had an idea, a brilliant idea that he got off of TV, and he thinks that it'll work. So in these 10 pages, they told us what the idea was. He was planning on going to an island with a hot air balloon. But then, as they were traveling inside of the hot air balloon, it about 3 cannonballs started to. They were shooting and trying to They were shooting cannonballs to try to shoot the hot air balloon down. I'm guessing because they know that there's treasure on the island.
Oh. So on Monday, you'll be able to read 10 more pages and we'll be able to see the outcome of the story, huh?
It's
So
not.
we get close Monday, huh? Okay. Anybody else have any questions for him?
No, ma'am.
I said, well, it seemed like it was it's so exciting. I want to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, we have to wait till
So I'm
Monday.
gonna make sure we go. Well, I'm gonna go back and listen to the first 10 pages because I want to know what I missed.
I know
You read so well. I caught up. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does read well, doesn't he?
He's very fluent. Yes.
Mm-hmm. He's
So
going
why
to
did
the second grade.
he's going to the? So why did you select that book to read?
Well, because I already like Geronimo Stilton's books, and I know that they're filled with like different adventures every time. So I thought that this book would be really nice to read to you all because maybe you guys will be interested in the book too.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, now who's the next reader? And remember to tell us your name and what you're reading and hold the book up so we can see it. And she already read 10 pages too.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the title of my book is The Wild Wild West by Geronimo Stilton. The name your age. So I'm going to start after the first 10, 20 pages that I read in the first Zoom. So the title of this chapter is If My Friends Could See Me Now. We found the general store in the center of town. Inside, a short, stocking mouse greeted us. Howdy, strangers. Welcome to Blunt Rat Bob, he squeaked. Bob's the name. Stuff is my game. And strangers do you like you need some stuff. Those duds you're wearing look ridiculous. I stared down at my suit. I guess I didn't look out of the place. But ridiculous? No way. Meanwhile, Bob had run off. He returned a few minutes later with a paw full of clothes. Here it is. And that's where they were wearing.
Okay.
I put on a pair of leather pants, boots with spurs, and checkered shirt and a cow rat hat. Then I looked at myself in the mirror. I must admit, I look pretty cool. I felt just like a real cow rat. If only my friends at the Rodents Gazette could see me now. My family seemed just as excited. Benjamin jumped up and down. If only my friends at school could see me now, he exclaimed. Trap wiggled his tail. If only my friends down at the Squeak and Chew could see me now, he chuckled. Thea winked at her own reflection. Then she tried to take a step. She tried to jump. She tried to run. Her dress was too long. She couldn't move. Instead, she fell flat on her snout. Thank goodness my friends can't see me now, she snorted. She had Bob bring her a pair of pants, a shirt, and a pretty bandana. That's better, she nodded. Now all I need is a horse, and I'm ready for action. Bob pointed to 4 horses in front of his store. He piled other supplies on the counter. I counted 4 saddles, 4 blankets, 4 canteens, 4 bowls, 4 spoons, and far too many cans of baked beans. Did I mention I have a sensitive stomach? Here's the picture of her dress.
Okay.
My cousin will play. That's what you need, strangers, Bob said when he had gathered all the supplies. Now, how will you be paying? Trap pointed to me. My cousin will pay, he squeaked. I wasn't surprised. Trap loves spending money, especially when it's mine. I pulled out some bills from my wallet. Bob eyed them with suspicion. Never saw bills like this, he said. Nope, you need gold in these parts, stranger. With a sigh, I gave him my gold watch. Not enough, partner, he said, pocketing the watch. Well, I'll need more gold. What else do you have? Before I could think, Chop spoke up. My cousin has a gold tooth, he announced. Bob took out a pair of pliers. Open up, he ordered. Cheese niblets. He was going to yank out my gold tooth. I felt faint. Just then, my sister jumped to the rescue. Stop! Don't touch him, she shrieked. I've got lots of gold for you. Good for old Thea. I watched as she plunked down all of her gold jewelry on the counter. Not enough, Bob declared. At that moment, Trap mumbled something under his breath. Then he pulled out a gold chain that was hidden under his shirt. On it hung a giant, shiny gold letter T. We all stared at it. That T must have weighed a ton. Still, Bob insisted it wasn't enough. I was getting annoyed. What's more did this mouse want from us? Our firstborn mouselings? It was time to put my paw down. Our gold was worth at least a few scruffy-looking horses. But before I could speak, Benjamin piped up. Mr. Bob, I don't have any gold, he began. But maybe you'd like my new Cheese Blaster 4000 game? He pulled a small electronic video game from his backpack. Colorful pictures of Swiss slices and mozzarella balls zoomed across the screen. Bob's eyes lit up, like my grandfather Cheap Mouse Willie when he discovered a penny on the sidewalk. You've got a deal, he squeaked. This toy is Fabu-Mouse. By now, it was already dusk. We gathered our supplies and took off. We needed to find a place to spend the night. But where? Where do you spend the night in the wild, wild west? Something told me there were no 5-star Fur-Town hotels in Cactus City. Just then, we spotted a sign tacked to the front door of a salon. It read, Rooms for Rent. Thea clapped her paws. Okay, everyone, here's what we're going to do, she announced. Gary Berry will go into the salon. He will book us 2 rooms for the night. The rest of us will take care of the horses. One thing you should know about Thea, she loves being the boss. I stared at the noisy salon. Can't you come in with me? I asked. I'm a little shy in front of strangers. Trap pushed me towards the door. Oh, stop being such a fraidy mouse, he snorted. Shake a paw. I frowned. Don't push me. I can't stand it when you push me, I squeaked. I stepped into the salon. Cowards were everywhere. They were playing cards. They were flinging darts. They were picking their teeth with pocket knives. Rat-munching rattlesnakes. Those cowards were tough. I listened to one Roddy banging away at the piano. He was awful, but I didn't dare say a word. He might use me to pick his teeth. Just then, a mouse screeched at me from behind the bar. What do you want, stranger? He yelled. My stomach was churning. I guess it was the beans. I decided a hot cup of squeaky time tea would be just perfect. So I asked for one. His mouth hit the floor. Did you say a hot cup of squeaky time tea? He repeated. I nodded. I wondered why he looked so surprised. I know the name sounds silly, but it really is a very soothing tea. He snorted and turned around to the crowd. Did you hear what the stranger wants to drink? He bellowed. Squeaky time tea. The piano player stopped playing. Everyone turned towards me. They were quiet as mice. Then they started laughing. Squeaky time tea. Ho ha 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 ha. The bartender slid a cup of tea down the counter towards me, but I missed. That was my first 10 pages of the book.
Wow, wow.
Wow. Can you describe Cactus City for me?
Now,
Can you describe Cactus City?
Cactus City is like it's like a place that is in a desert, and it has no sheriff. It just has stores, bars, and horses, and there's barely any water. All they eat is beans, which he really did not like. And the names that he was saying and the money he was giving weren't usual to them because they'd never been to the city. They stayed in the country in the desert, so they didn't know what it was, and so they were making fun of him.
Wow, it was interesting that you was like giving a lot of booze and bam. Any other questions?
I was she was reading with such inflection, you know, it couldn't help but pull you in.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good, very good.
Yes, absolutely.
Harry's going to be a great reader because his sister and brother are mentors for him. He's going to be great. He's going to be just like them.
And I think those are his cousins. Those are cousins, right? Those are his cousins. Yeah, they came over. They tried to get on yesterday.
Keep reading out loud.
Yes.
Okay.
So you ready, Henry?
I was going last.
Oh, you going last? Okay, so Trey, you want to go?
Tracy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Trey, come on.
Come name your book.
And my book is Llama Llama 99.
And it was written and illustrated by
It was illustrated by Andy
Anna.
Anna
Dooney.
Anna Dooney.
Okay, great.
Okay, and you going to the first grade, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Dinner's over. Tummy fed. Llama Llama, time for bed.
Turn around so you can see the picture. Okay.
All right, Llama. I'm ready for this.
Time to brush and feel the water and feel the tub.
Turn around. Let's see it.
All righty. Okay, we got it.
Time to splish, splash, and splash and scroll.
Okay.
Okay. I see the pictures.
PJs on, then party time. Choose a book with silly rhymes.
Okay. All right.
Snuggle in, turn out the light.
All right.
Llama Llama 99.
All right.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wonderful, Trey. That was great. So does that remind you of bedtime, of your bedtime? Trey, does that remind you of when you're going to bed yourself? The book?
Is this your bedtime?
No, you. I never want to go to bed.
Oh,
He said, but does it remind you when it's time?
I don't blame
You know.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes
Very,
sense.
very good, Trey.
Very
very
good. Really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Thank
Okay, so-
you, everybody in this country.
Okay.
Okay, Grandma, you reading next? You'll read next?
Oh, okay. I thought Henry was going to read.
Year and
I
Oh,
thought
Henry
Henry-
told me he's reading last. Is that right?
nature,
Henry?
No.
year, and far. Yes, ma'am.
I thought you said you
Yeah,
were
he
gonna
wants to be
read
the last read on the event. Yes.
But he's ready to read.
Henry, are you
Are you
reading
ready for
last?
Henry or you want me to read?
You want to read?
Are you ready to read?
Last.
He want to read last.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't want to go, I'll read mine. I'm reading Three Little Pigs.
Oh, I'll read.
Okay, go ahead. Did I read after you?
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to read about LeBron James and his business partner, Meredith Carter.
Okay.
LeBron's next move. He's building a media company during a pandemic, anti-racism protests, and economic uncertainty. Oh yeah, and he's about to start playing basketball again. And it came from Bloom's? Bloomsburg Business Week. And this article is by Jason Kelly, and photographs by Ike Eden. We've been through a lot this year, said LeBron James. The 3 times NBA champion Los Angeles Laker talked to me on June 23rd via Zoom with his childhood friend and business partner, Meredith Carter. It was the second of 2 joint interviews to discuss their new company, but the first since the world locked down because of COVID-19. James was in their hometown of Akron, Ohio, while Carter was in Los Angeles. Kobe Bryant's death in January was followed by the pandemic and the suspension of the NBA season. And then, of course, the horrific killing of George Floyd. Just seeing that video, how many people were hurt, not only in Minneapolis, but all over the world, and especially in the Black community, because we've seen this over and over and over. So you know, he added, it's been a lot going on in 2020. The pair thought it was going to be a big year for different reasons. On March 11th, the same day the NBA suspended the season, and a little more than a week before their adopted hometown ordered residents to shelter in place, James and Carter formed the Spring Hill Company after raising $100 million. They described it as a media company with an unapologetic agenda, a maker and distributor of all kinds of content that will give a voice to creators and consumers who've been patted to the board or underserved. Spring Hill is named for the Akron apartment complex where James and his mom moved when he was in 6th grade. It consolidates a robot company, a marketing agency, with 2 other businesses. The first, Spring Hill Entertainment, is Behind the Wall, a game show on NBC, and the movie Space Jam: A New Legacy, which stars James and is scheduled to be released next year. The second, Uninterrupted LCC, produces The Shop, Uninterrupted, an HBO talk show featuring James Carter and other Black A-list celebrities, as well as Kneading Dough, an online partnership with JP Morgan Chase and Company, in which athletes talk about money to promote financial literacy. They do it in a way that's incredibly relatable, says Christian Lipkow, Chief Executive Officer of JP Morgan's U.S. Wealth Management business, who created the show with Carter. Uninterrupted, a hybrid production marketing business, is also responsible for a Nike Incorporated shoe collaboration and a hoodie collection for Pride Month designed with soccer star Megan Rapinoe and basketball great Sue Bird. In a February interview at the Lakers practice facility in El Segundo, they talk about bring here as a platform to give people of color the creative control that's long eluded them. Carter called becoming a house of brands. It's part Disney storytelling power, part Nike coolness, and part Patagonia social impact. In 2020, stories can be told in many different ways on social media and films, as well as with sneakers and sweatshirts. This is ultimately a company that's about point of view, the community you serve, and empowerment, says LA investment banker Paul Washer, who helped put the project together. This is a company designed to move the culture. At the practice facility, a day after putting up 40 points on the New Orleans Pelicans, James told me, when we talk about storytelling, we want to be able to hit home, to hit a lot of homes where they feel like they can be a part of their story and they feel like, oh, you know what, I can relate to that. It's very organic to our upbringing, Carter added. When you grow up in a place where we were, no matter how talented you are, if you don't even know that other things exist, there's no way for you to ever feel empowered because you're like, I'm confined to this small world. That's our duty, a lot of exposure.
That's very good that they're doing that. Do you boys have any questions? I know y'all know something about these sports figures she just read about.
No, ma'am. I don't have a question.
Okay.
Mm.
So,
And I know it was
Lynette, tell us the most important aspects of the story.
I thought it was important because I wanted the children to see that you don't have to be born rich, or you don't have to be born where people think you are important in order for you to become financially successful and to do work to uplift your community and yourself. So I know that was like Trey said, oh, okay, you know, I didn't even, the article is longer, but I wanted to just get through to the point to show that these young men were born everyday people, and they saw there was a need for people to be able to want to represent themselves and represent people who look like them, and they're working to solve the problem. Not depending on somebody else to solve the problem or to bring it out for somebody else, but to they're creating their own to bring it out.
Yes, that's important because they're trying to do something to lift somebody else up in their own community. And I think that's a valuable lesson. Yeah.
So it just goes back to that saying, public policy begins on your street.
Very
you don't
good.
wait for someone to come to your street to help you. You help yourself.
Yeah.
Your street.
Right. Right.
That's very important. Very important.
So I thought, yeah, with LeBron James, you know, being a worldwide name, that would be something that we could all relate to, just an everyday person.
Right.
You start every day. Right.
Okay. Well,
so you young men and women can, you know, you all can create for yourself, and as you create for yourself, you work to bring other people along with you and uplift other people too.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I'll read I'm reading The Three Little Pigs, and then Mary, you can go, and I think that he'll be last unless Vicky, are you gonna be able to read? Are you waiting till Monday?
I'll wait till Monday.
Right. Okay. I'll go ahead and read mine. The Three Little Pigs. Y'all know about this story?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, me too. Once there were three little pigs. They set out into the great big forest to look for a nice spot to build homes. The first little pig gathered up straw to build his house. Swish, swash, swish. The second little pig gathered up sticks to build his house. Plickety, plackety, plick. The third little pig gathered up bricks to build his house. clippity, clippity, clop. The first two pigs finished their houses in no time. They said to the third pig, "You're working too hard. Why don't you come play?" But he kept right on building. Click, clock, pop, smack. Finally, he was all finished. He relaxed by a warm fire in his safe and strong house. Uh-oh, look at that. He relaxes in his recliner, the green recliner, y'all. Look at that beautiful house. One day, a big, bad wolf came to the straw house of the first little pig. He could smell a kettle of soup, and it made him very hungry. He said, little pig, let me in." But the first little pig replied, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." With a swoosh and a whoosh, the straw house blew away. The first little pig jumped up and ran all the way to the second pig's house. Look at y'all, he was getting it. No bad wolf.
That wolf got.
Yeah. The next day, the big bad wolf came to the house of the second pig. He could smell a fresh loaf of bread baking in the oven. He said, little pig, let me in." And the little pig said, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," cried the second little pig. So the wolf said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." With a gust of air and a crack and a crash, the stick house fell to the ground. Both pigs jumped up and ran all the way to the third little pig's house. And what was the third pig's house made out of?
Bricks.
All right, y'all know this thing. Yeah. All right, you see it.
So they can't. So he can't.
Y'all see the house? Man, that was a mean wolf. When the third little pig heard about the wolf, he was glad his brothers were safe. He said, "You must be hungry and tired. Sit down and have some pie." And he invited them, he said, "Come on in." The big bad wolf came to the third pig's house and smelled that pie. He said, little pig, let me in." "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin," cried the third little pig. So the wolf said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." He puffed and he puffed and he blew with all his might, but that brick house would not fall. Did y'all hear me? So he rubbed and snuffed and blew again, but the brick house just wouldn't fall. The wolf had never had this happen before. He sat down on an old log and began to cry. Look at that wolf crying. He cried because he couldn't do no bad deed that day. The third little pig said, there, Mr. Wolf. You don't have to be sad. You have a remarkable talent. You can use your talent for better things than blowing down houses." "I have an idea," said the third little pig. "Listen." Outside the woods, they heard the sounds of children laughing and playing. It was the local fair, and everyone was going. The third little pigs and the uh, big sad wolf all went down to the fair. Here's a wonderful way to use your talent, said the third little pig. Will you huff and a puff, and the wolf started blowing up colorful balloons. Oh my goodness. They made him blow up balloons at the local fair. It's a new story. All the children came to see the fun sizes and shapes. The wolf was happy and amazed to have so many new friends. He wasn't bad or sad anymore. He was the big glad wolf. While the big glad wolf huffed and puffed, the first little pig sewed straw baskets, the second little pig played the fiddle, and the third little pig sat peacefully under the shade of an oak tree, smiling. The end. Any questions?
A different version.
That is a different version, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is. So,
I have a question.
yes.
Did the wolf come for the food or for the pigs?
The wolf came to destroy their homes. That was gonna make him. He was bad. That's what he wanted to do.
Well, he wanted to get the pie and the stew and everything, but did he come for the food or the pigs that were in the house?
I see what you're saying. He did come to eat, and when they wouldn't let him eat, he blew their house down. The first two made out of straw, and the other one made out of sticks.
And then
You got a question, Trey? You got a question or a comment, Trey?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Rams had that book, but it was a different kind. Guess what? So the bad wolf went somewhere, and there he scotched his butt.
He got what? The bad wolf?
He scotched his butt. I saw when Dima and Bubble Guppies. She had to play for the big bad wolf because the big bad wolf was sick. And then she blew down 2 houses, but she couldn't seem to blow down the brick house.
Okay. Yes, and that happened in this story, but at the end of this story, when he couldn't blow down the brick house, the third pig that built the brick house suggested that he do some good things, and he recommended that he go to the fair and use his wind to blow up balloons for the children that come to the fair. That's how this one ended, which was definitely different than the one you read and me too. Yeah.
And guess what? When she was finished, she said, "All right, I guess so. I'll leave you 3 piggies alone." That's what she said.
That's how the other one ended. Okay, I get you. Okay.
So there's more than one version of the same story.
Yes. Okay, you ready, Mary?
Okay, I'm going to read a short poem from Remember the Bridge.
Okay.
It's The Millionaire. Okay, The Millionaire. She left the parched fields of the South, but still she lived from hand to mouth. Worked at a scrub board in blazing heat, washing laundry to make ends meet, till dreams bid her to brew her portions, madam's lines of oil and lotions. She filled glass jars on the kitchen floor and sold her wares from door to door. Her factory ran round the clock, filling orders for beauty shops, creams for skin, oils for hair. Call her Madam Mia, and that's The Millionaire, Madam C.J. Walker.
Yeah, I knew that's who you was talking about. So, how could you describe how that poem progressed?
Well, she went from mere beginnings very poor and worked her way by coming up with her own wares, her own products to become a millionaire.
And that really happened. Have y'all ever heard of Madam C.J. Walker?
That really happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yeah,
ma'am.
did y'all see the movie?
No, ma'am.
I saw the movie on Netflix about a month or two ago. It was very good. Y'all have any questions?
No, ma'am.
What did she do for a living?
She made hair products.
She made hair products and sold her hair products to us.
Right.
And when I was like 2 years ago, I did a assignment on that, and I chose C.J. Walker in my class. No, it was a year ago.
And who is that? Which one? Who's talking?
She,
Me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing is that she started off as a maid, earning very low wages. At a time when we washed clothes, we had to use a scrub board because that was before the washing machine.
And you know, I have a scrub board and I've had it here in my little room. And last week it got so crowded in here, I took it to the bookstore. So if I kept it, I'd be able to show you that scrub board.
Oh, really? Oh, you got it at the bookstore?
I have it at the bookstore. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Wow.
Trey has a question.
Okay.
What's the question?
Harry Potter is some kind of movie.
Oh, she's not talking about that person. She's talking about somebody else. So we'll look that up. I learned about about the other lady because of the movie that was out about a month or so ago. So I cannot call the lady's name, but I didn't know there was another lady before Madam C.J. Walker.
There was a millionaire?
Mm-hmm. So she's supposed to.
What was her
You're
name?
supposed to have mentored Madam C.J. Walker. I have to look it back up. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. And so
there's another lady I can't recall, but that's her. Yeah. Before
Okay,
Madam
so-
CJ, yeah.
So we have our last reader. Henry, are you ready to take us home?
Saving the best for the
He's
last.
saving the best for last.
For the last.
All right.
Let's read.
Nature, near, and far.
Well, I should hold up your book, Henry.
Turn it. Okay.
Seth and Beth meet at the path. Beth has a big map. It can help. They will go and see Bob Frog. This trip is far. Seth and Beth pass Ben. Ben can see them. Seth tips his cap. Then Ben tips his cap. This trip is far. Beth and Seth pass Sam. Sam can see them. Seth and Sam tip their hats. Beth and Seth pass Huck. Huck duck. They are at Blue Pond. Huck can see them. Where is Bob Frog? Yells Beth yells. Does Bob Frog live here? Said as Bob Frog is in the pond. Huck quacks. Get up, Bob Frog. Seth and Beth call, play with us. This is fun. It is fun. Zeb, yeah. Zeb will get big and look like this. Zeb will be like his big dad. Then Zeb will go tug, tug, tug. That's the end.
Oh, very good.
That's Zeb.
All right.
Can you give us a
Mhm.
summary of what happened in the story?
There's two stories.
Well, when he was talking about
That
Zeb, that was the second story, and then
Seth and Beth meet at the path. Then Seth has a big map. Then they want to find Bob Frog and play with him. And
Did they-
the second story is Zeb the egg. He's not big. He's going to look like that.
He's still young and small, and he wants to grow up and be big like his dad.
And going to go tug, tug, tug.
Oh, those are cows.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, I really enjoyed these briefing sessions. So you all gonna be on Monday at 11? Gonna try to be on Monday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
well, y'all have a wonderful, super awesome weekend, and I hope you read this weekend. I'm gonna read something too.
Well,
Thank you. We had a good time.
we had a very good time.
Thank you.
All right. All right. We'll see
Bye.
you guys.
Good night.
Good night. Y'all have a great afternoon.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.